It is Russ. I'm on the Prospect Heights Trail heading back home. Yeah, I wasn't going to record this, but then I thought about it and I said, you know what? Like others have said, it's not really where you ride, it's the fact that you are riding and we have something to listen to as you talk. And then I also thought about it and I said, you know, if I don't record this ride, then I got to ride all the way back home by myself, and I don't have a buddy to ride with me, which would be you guys. So I said, yeah, we're gonna record this, so at least I have something to talk, somebody to talk to. So here's an interesting thing that I noticed. We're gonna break 3,000 miles on this bike today on the way back. Because if you look down here, I don't know if you can see it, we're at 2,995 miles. Well, it's more than 5 miles to get back home. So yeah, we're gonna break 3,000. Now, at first I said, that's not a real big deal. I mean, we were really at around the 2,600 and something mile range when we first started this season. So what's the big deal of 400 miles on this bike, considering we did over 2,600 miles last year? Well, the big deal is it's actually more miles than you think, because I've been splitting my time between bicycles. So I've actually ridden more than the 400 miles to get us to the 3,000. It's just sitting on other bikes now. So it'll never look as big of a mileage as it did last year, especially now that the review bikes are coming in. I think by the time you see this particular video, by the time this one's by the time this video is released to you, another bike would have come in already, which I'm in the process of doing the review for. So, you know, if you're reviewing a bike, you've got to ride that bike. And so the mileage will go onto that bike now. So as more bikes keep coming in, the odometer just looks worse and worse as far as less mileage on your bike. It's okay. We all know I do ride quite a bit. It's just, it's not going to be all piled up on one bike anymore. So, if my review has not come out by the time this video comes out, you might be asking, what is this next bike that you have coming in? All right. Well, I won't tell you the brand or anything, just in case that bike review hasn't come out yet. But I'll just tell you this way: it's a folding bike. Yeah. So what does that mean? Well, that means my wife has a folding bike and I have a folding bike. That's what it means. So what does that really mean? That means we might be able to stick those bikes inside her SUV and ride at some other areas. Yeah, that's what it means. Now, I could have taken her car, her SUV, on the weekends, taken her bike, stuck it in there, and then rode on my own. But here's a couple problems with that. Those bikes are not lightweight. Getting it in and out of the SUV is not easy either. So having a second person to help you move it in and out of there isn't so bad. Unless you put a ramp or something, you make some type of ramp and somehow slide it up or wheel it up or something. But, you know, they fold, so I don't know how that would happen. And so having her there to help me along with it is a good thing. Alright, so we're going to pass here, but I want to make sure we can see ahead first. Thank you. So, so if both of us could actually go together, if we could get both of those bikes in the back of her SUV, we might be able to go to some places that we've never been to before. That's my hope. If it doesn't turn out that way, then oh well, I have to figure out some other thing. I've mentioned before in the past that the addition of a bike rack is not possible for me on my vehicle because Hyundai doesn't recommend it on my Hyundai Elantra. I guess there's not enough metal there or something like that on the bottom to support the amount of weight that these bikes have. And putting it on her car makes no sense either if we can just stick it inside the vehicle, right? I mean, why bring this heavy bike out there when I have a folding bike I can take? Which of course would make it easier. All right, I'm gonna back up a little bit here. I was hoping to go through, but then I saw that car. I mean, although it's a distance, I figured, yeah, why do it? I'll wait for these cars to pass through. This is a major street. So better to let the cars go by. So you might be thinking, this folding bike, is that the new Magicycle bike that you mentioned earlier? You know, because they have a folding bike coming out too. No, it's another brand. And the other brand actually had contacted me around the same time Magicycle contacted me. It's just that it's taken this long for them to give it to me. It's not a new bike. It's been around. I think I've seen reviews of it before, but they want me to do the review as well. And but we've been waiting for a new battery that's coming out from them. It's a tad more amp hour. I mean, very small amount extra. I don't know if they've changed any formulation of the battery or something, but they said that they wanted me to review the latest version of it. So we've just been waiting for that to come into the United States. Because, you know, once they make these bikes, they have to ship it here. And then it's got to sit in the warehouses, it's got to clear customs, all that kind of stuff. So when all that happens, then they're able to release the bikes. Now, I know many of you guys probably have had the same situations of where you've ordered a bike and then had to wait. Some of that waiting time is supply chain issues, but some of it is actually customs and things. You know, things that are actually beyond the control of the manufacturer, but they still have to deal with it. So I know we all get upset when we paid for something and hasn't come out, and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting for your bike to show up. And believe me, the manufacturers are just as frustrated as you are, because when they can't ship it, you know, they're not making money unless it's permanently sold, right? Because people sometimes do cancel their orders if they wait too long. So they're not happy either. Believe me, they're in the same situation as us when we're waiting. They want to get them out as fast as they can. Sometimes they just can't. So I kind of understand that, but I understand the frustration too. Like, for instance, I've been waiting for Magicycle's second battery to come out so I can take that Magicycle Cruiser out on rides like this. We've been kind of stuck in the same area with the Magicycle Cruiser. Not that the Magicycle Cruiser doesn't have enough range, because it does, but some of the places I go to require more than that range. Just to get here, and then the same amount of distance to get back home. I've always looked at the distances as half. Like, if I want to go someplace, people say, oh, it's only 10 miles away. Well, you know what that is? That's 20 miles. That's 10 miles there and 10 miles back. So I see it like that. So let's say your range let's say your range is 26 miles on your battery, okay? Give a random number. That means you got 13 miles to go out, 13 miles to go back. So really, is that far enough? And in my mind, it's not far enough. I prefer to have more range than that. So that's why I keep asking everybody, please give me a second battery when you want me to do these reviews, because then I can take that bike further and do a better review for them. I did see one comment from somebody that they was waiting for the day when the bikes are lighter in weight and the ranges are even farther. I don't know what he mentioned. Did he mention like 150 miles or something like that? I don't know what he said. And I kind of laughed a little bit at that. I go, really, 150 miles? But then I thought more about it. I go, you know, the guy actually might be right. One of these days, if the technology gets better on the batteries and stuff, you might be able to get ranges like that. Who knows? I mean, we don't know. We don't know what these guys are developing at this point. So, yeah, he might be right. I mean, as of today, he's not right, okay? We don't have that kind of technology on the batteries yet. But that doesn't mean it's not going to happen down the road. All right. Now, I have an option. Sorry if that sounds noisy on the microphone. Again, I get an itch underneath the visor. And the microphone is there. I can take the Google Maps and let it guide me back, or we can see how well we know how this path goes and head back our own without the map. Let's do that. Let's see if I've remembered well enough that I can figure out how to head back without the guidance of the GPS. Because I've gone down here many times. I should remember by now. But as I mentioned before, I have a very short memory for this type of stuff. I'm terrible with directions. And so, whereas you might be able to do it, I might not be able to do it. I think when they invented the GPS, I was very happy. I bought one of the earliest GPSs on a Hewlett-Packard handheld device. I was trying to avoid the word Palm Pilot because it's really not a Palm Pilot. It's the Hewlett-Packard version of it, all right? But essentially their version of a Palm Pilot. And it had a GPS option, whereas you could buy the module for the GPS and then hook it up to that unit. So I used that when I was shooting weddings, so I can get around finding weddings. I used to have to do it on a map. I had to plot out everything on a map before I went out and headed towards the wedding. All right, so we are on Palatine Road right now. And as you see on our left-hand side, that is 40 or 45 miles an hour, I believe. 45 miles an hour, and the side that we're on is 30 miles an hour. So there's a little median thing there. It kind of protects us from those cars. But still, I am on a 30 mile an hour road right now. This road doesn't get traveled that much. The other road does. And I mentioned on the trip coming to the Prospect Heights Trail that I didn't really like to be on that road because further up you don't have this side road. So we travel on this road as far as we can go. Then I got to cross over, take a left, cross over, and continue my ride. We are at 2,998 miles. I'll let you know when we hit the 3,000. Sometimes it passes and I forgot to look down. So now I have a car coming up from behind me. But we've got to get into the left turn section because we're going to take a left at this stoplight. Luckily, there's cars in front of me. I always like that because they will trigger that light for me. There we go. As long as that stays the way it is, we'll be fine. So this gives us the ability to go on green, but that side does not. I'm going to signal with the arm signal so they all know that I'm turning. There's no surprise for anybody. It's kind of a confusing divided highway. Yeah. Sorry for the noise again. Yeah, you know, the microphone with the little windscreen is literally directly between my eyes. It's on the visor directly between my eyes. I had it off to the side at one time and found that it created a lot of wind noise, but putting it where it is now and angling the mic just right cuts a lot of that wind noise out that would be howling on you right now. But I mean, you hear the wind, but you don't hear it. You don't hear it the way it was before. All right, so that forces me to keep it literally right between my eyes, and that thing kind of tickles sometimes, and then I get this little itch. A lot of times I just sit there and suffer through it. Other times I have to scratch it. And of course, then I hit the microphone and then you hear the noise on the microphone. The wind was fairly heavy yesterday. It's fairly, well, not as heavy as yesterday, but it is quite a bit of wind right now. All right. Kids' beds built to grow, it says. Is there, I guess there is enough market for kids' bedding. Goodwill store on the left-hand side there, on that side. Kids' beds built to grow. All right, let's cross this thing here. So anyways, the mileage is still at 2,998. We're getting there. We're gonna see that thing hit 3,000. Yeah, you know, every 1,000 mile on a bike is kind of a milestone, right? Okay, I'm back. Yeah, my GoPro battery ran out on me. At least the nice part is before it dies, it does this like a series of beeps to let you know that it's turning off. Yeah, I was recording so much that I didn't remember I needed to switch the battery out. And of course at the same time my digital audio recorder battery was dying too, so I had to change that out. Yeah, it was a whole battery changing session. So we are now at 2,999 miles. Yeah, we're about ready to break the 3,000 soon. Here's a nice boat in front of us. Always wanted a boat so I can go fishing. But it just seems like such a hassle. You have to drag it along with you and launch it and pay launch fees and all sorts of stuff. Nah, too much effort. A friend of mine once told me, he says, if you want a boat, rent it. Might cost you a lot, but on the long run it's cheaper. And I think he's right. It's cheaper to do it. It's already in the water. Paid a rental fee. I mean, we once rented a boat for 3 days. We were up in Wisconsin. I think it was about $225 for the 3 days. Between three people, it wasn't that expensive. All right, I don't know if we can go. Yep, I guess we can go. It was a funeral procession thing. I don't know where the rest of the funeral procession is. But we all went, so yeah, he said the best thing to do is just rent a boat. Might sound like a lot of money for 3 days, but on the long run, that was cheaper. You're owning a boat, paying for the boat, paying for storage, cleaning the boat, launching the boat. Yeah, it's a lot of work. All right, so I've been running without the GPS, just going based on memory. It's not hard, but like I said, sometimes I just feel more comfortable having the GPS with me. We have hit 3,000. I don't know if you guys were looking or not, but look straight down. I'll angle down a little bit. Yeah, we're at 3,000 miles on this bike. Yay! Time to celebrate. What are we supposed to do? Ride another 3,000 miles. So this bike was purchased April of last year. Here it is in June. I think I would have hit the 3,000 miles if I didn't have the other bikes to deal with. It would have been hit a lot earlier this year. Keep in mind too, being in the Chicago area, of course, I don't ride during the winter months. So I rode all the way up through to, what was it, mid-December, something like that. And then I didn't start up again until, what was it? End of March, early April of this year, something like that. Can't remember. So we have several months of downtime. Yeah, so what are we gonna talk about during that downtime? Yeah, that's been the question. I'm hoping to stockpile some footage, have enough footage maybe to run some footage down the road. Okay, we gotta take a right over here, I believe. So we'll let all the cars go through. And talk about some other things, e-bike news. Talk a little bit about maintenance, things like that. You know, there's a lot of things that you can talk about. But the actual riding is going to be a lot more limited during the winter months. Now we haven't even hit into the heart of summertime yet, so that's a whiles off. All right. Oops, stop sign, sorry. I was kind of looking around. I didn't notice the stop sign. My mistake, sorry. Don't say anything. Nobody was around. I was looking left and right. And don't come up with the no excuse, no excuse. Okay, we know. Yeah, I missed it. I was more concerned about what's up ahead, the Palatine Road. That's what I was more concerned with, because if that would have happened here, that'd be another story. You're talking a major street. All right, I've got to take a left, and there's a car behind me. Nope, he's pulled off. The hard part is when you put your arm out to signal, you can't pull on the brakes. Now you could do a quick signal and then come back in and pull on the brakes, but how do you know that driver actually saw your hand signal when it's that fast? So I tend to leave my hand out a little longer. Anyways, we hit the 3,000. When it hits 3,001, I think we'll be done for today. You don't need to see me go all the way back home. Oh, 3,001, there you go. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know you made it through to the end. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. A lot more rides coming up, a lot more topics to talk about. I'll talk to you guys next time.